fires 2 shots from here, hits the wall, then shoots himself.
If he tripped, he could have done it accidentally, sir.
Are they all here now?
Yes, sir, grumbling and moaning.
Oh?
And I should watch that Edmund Swettenham.
Why?
I should think he's a bit of the left-wing intellectual.
I didn't get that impression last night.
Well, he's been a bit bullshitty with me, sir. He had a go at the force this morning. Kept sprouting on about our Gestapo methods.
Oh, Christ, why do I always pick the awkward ones?
You do seem to attract them, sir.
Why can't I get a nice, peaceful, law-abiding lot who do as they're told, answer my questions with a certain amount of civility?
Not your style, sir.
Once. Just once. That's all I ask. Somebody up there doesn't like me, Sergeant, and what's more, that lot out there are trying to compound the felony.
Shall I wheel them in?
There's nothing else for it, is there?
Afraid not, sir.
No, not that door. It's been sealed for years.
All right, everyone in.
Did you count the ducks when you were out there? Did you count them? No.
Your attention, please. Quiet, please. Release! Thank you very much. Very good of you. I do appreciate your cooperation.
This is very inconvenient, Inspector. It is Saturday, and there's shopping and many jobs to be done.
I understand your problem, Mrs. Swettenham, but may I remind you a man died here last night, right on the spot where you're standing. And whilst it may not seem overly important to you, it is to me, and to society in general. So, if it's not asking too much, I'd like you to push your shopping to the back of the line for a little while, answer a few questions.
I would have thought there were enough questions asked last night.
Ah, well, perhaps you don't think the same way as me, young man. Yes, I should think that's the answer. We think differently. But if you cast your mind back, way back to last night, you'll surely recall that I allowed you all to go home and get some rest on the understanding that you cooperate fully this morning.
Well, it's perfectly clear what happened. This man, Schultz, his name was, I believe.
Yes.
Came in here intending to steal from Miss Blacklock, or the rest of us, fired a couple of shots to scare us, tripped and fell in the dark, and shot himself. Poor devil.
I understand you're a bit of a writer.
Yes, I do write.
Huh. Well, I hope all your plots aren't as obvious as that, otherwise I don't think I'll be very interested in reading any of your books. Now, perhaps we could get on with this.
I'm sure we're all perfectly willing to answer your questions, Inspector, but it has been rather a shock to all of us.
I appreciate that, Miss Blacklock, but you see, for a start, he didn't break in. No locks broken, no windows forced.
He must have come in the back door. I did.
And as I was saying when Miss Marple interrupted me, there's your very bad habit of leaving the doors unlocked for all and sundry to come and go as they please.
I did lock the front door.
For once.
And everyone in the village does it. We all leave them unlocked.
It's foolish, it's very foolish. Now, Miss Blacklock, last night you said you knew this Rudy Schultz.
Hardly knew, Inspector. His father owned a small hotel in Montreux. I spent many years there helping to nurse my sister, and I had the occasional meal there. However, last week I was having a lunch at the Royal Spa Hotel in Medinham Wells, and he was there. He approached me and said that he recognized me, and that he was over here to get a thorough grounding in the hotel business. Well, I must confess, I had no recollection of ever meeting him before. But nevertheless, a few days later, He stopped by and visited here.
So he's been here before.
I remember, Letty. You were very upset. He asked you for some money.
That's right. He made up some story about his father being taken seriously ill and that he was in desperate need of money for his airfare home. Well, I believed he was lying. Surely, if his father owned a hotel, his family could afford the fare to send him home. I told him I had no intention of lending him any money. But what surprised me the most was he didn't make a fuss. He just left, like a lamb.
I see. Do you think he may have called here purely to have a look around, see what the layout of the house was, that sort of thing?
Well, I hadn't given it much thought until now, but I'll bet that's what he was doing. Not that it would have done him any good. I don't keep more than a few pounds in the house.
Valuables?
Nothing much.
Jewelry, silver?
Little bits and pieces. Well, the silver is reasonable. Mitzi was polishing it last night.
Mitzi?
And not touch it! It is not up to you secret police officers who come here and blame me for everything. It was the same in my country. Torture, interrogation, but I do not break. I tell you, I do not crack.
Is he always like this?
Go ahead. Interrogate me. I am innocent. I was locked up in the dining room, and that is my 100% alibi, as you say.
And a very good alibi it is. Perhaps too good on the
Wait.
surface. Now just sit down.
No.
Try to remember, I'm not too keen on the history on Sit! Let me say this to all of you. I don't want to be here any more than you do. There's a very good football match on at Milchester this afternoon I'd very much like to see. But other matters are more pressing. Please, can we continue this interrogation without any further interruptions? Now, Miss Blacklock, we've established you knew Rudy's shirts. We've established he's come here once before. We've established...
Excuse me, Inspector. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I knew him too.
You didn't mention this last night.
Well, I did, but you weren't here at the time. And then when you did arrive, you rather neglected me.
Did I?
Probably because I didn't arrive until after the action took place.
Sort of like turning to the end of the book to see who the killer is, eh?
As an analogy, it doesn't work, Inspector, because that's cheating. I usually guess who it is without resorting to those tactics. Do you turn to the last page?
If only I could. So, you knew Rudy's shirt, you say?
Yes. I stayed at the Royal Spa whilst having intensive treatments for rheumatism. He made up my bill. There were one or two discrepancies, which I couldn't fail to notice, of course.
Of course.
It was clear to me that he was on the make, as they say in the trade, and naturally, when the errors were pointed out, he apologized profusely, but we both knew.
Did you report it?
Well, there was nothing actually I could prove.
Well, he does seem to be in a bit of a villain. I'll know more soon. The Swiss police are running a check on him. I'd like you all to take up the exact positions you were in when the shots were fired last night as
Do you
far as
want
possible.
me to leave? I was coming up the drive.
You were outside when you heard the shots, were you?
Yes, Inspector, as you will realize, I came through the back door. Mitzi was banging about in the dining room. I let her out, and then we both came in here.
Tell you what you can do. Keep an eye on her. I don't want her banging about again.
I'm not then about.
Shush again! Everybody, come on, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh. Right. So, the lights go out, a flashlight comes on and lands on you.
I didn't have my hands up at first. I thought it was a joke. And then he boxed at me, and I was so frightened I put my hands up so high with this?
Well, he couldn't complain of that, could he?
I thought he was going to shoot me.
You're Miss Blacklock's niece, yes?
Well, yes.
Well, that's the kind of answer I like. Full of confidence. You are Miss Blacklock's niece?
I don't see what my relationship with Aunt Letty has to do with it.
May I suggest you leave me to work that out? In any case, I was merely trying to establish who you are.
You can check up on it if you like.
I will. Your mother lives in south of France, I understand?
She has for some time. It suits her health.
Thank you. Mrs. Swettenham!
Yes?
The light moved on to you next, Mrs. Swettenham.
Yes, I was totally dazzled. I couldn't see anything. All I could hear was that voice. Frightening, guttural.
You haven't all that long returned to this country, is that right?
Yes, my husband was with the diplomatic service. He died abroad, and naturally I returned with Edmund.
And where were you? Abroad, that is?
Why? Turin. My husband was with the trade delegation there. I don't see what my husband has got to do with any of this.
Well, my knowledge of geography hasn't entirely deserted me. Turin is not all that far from the Swiss border, is it?
No.
Thank you.
Just what are you insinuating?
The light fell on you next, did it not?
Yes, it did.
Thank you very much.
Aren't you going to ask any more questions?
No, right now. Mrs. Haynes. The light never fell on you at all, did it?
No, it didn't.
You were actually facing the door.
That's right.
Was it possible to see this man at all?
Not really. It was difficult to see anything.
But you were in a good position.
It was very dark. I suppose I could make out a shape, but nothing more.
And how long ago did your husband die, Mrs. Haynes?
Why? And what on earth has it got to do with this?
I'd like to know when and why you came to live here.
Well, I still don't see what the relevance is.
Does it strike you as odd that virtually all of you are newcomers to Chipping Cleghorn?
It never occurred to me until now.
It's odd, though.
I came here a few months ago because I was offered a job restoring the gardens at Dyer's Hall. I am a trained horticulturist.
That's nice. A gardener. Miss Bunner!
Oh, you're not going to give me the third degree, are you, Inspector?
Not today, but if you can tell me what you saw, if anything, I'd be very grateful. You were in a good position to see Miss Blacklock and the gunmen if the lights had been on.
Yes, I was.
I want you to think very hard and tell me what you remember before the lights went out.
Before?
Yes, then we'll see what you remember after the lights went out.
Oh, well, let me see. Letty was holding the vase.
Oh, no, Bunny dear. I was holding the cigarette box. I'd been handing it round.
Oh, that's right. I remember you were holding the cigarette box, not the vase.
Then what, Miss Bunner?
The flash!
From the torch.
No.
No?
There was a flash. It must have been the light on the cigarette box. We always keep it polished.
Ah.
And then it went dark. And he fired his gun at poor Letty. How could anyone do that?
You actually saw him fire the gun?
I saw the gun fire at Letty.
I see. Thank you, Miss Bunner.
He should be locked up.
Funny, he's dead.
That serves him right. He tried to murder Letty.
You were by the door having a few drinks?
I only had one. No.
Whatever you say, but you were by the door.
No, I was by the door, but he told me to move away from him. After the first two shots were fired, he brushed past me and I tried to trip him up.
Not to me, you think he fell.
I suppose so.
And after that, you went out to mend the fuse.
Yes, I didn't mend it. I simply switched the fuses around. It was quicker and easier. It was easy for me, of course. I knew exactly where the fuse box was, how to change the fuses, and which fuse was affected.
You're Miss Simmons' brother?
The elder.
Miss Blacklock's nephew?
No.
Patrick is my first cousin once removed, Inspector. His mother is my cousin.
Our mother always referred to his Aunt Letty whenever we came to visit, so, well,
And how long have you been living here?
3 months, I suppose.
So, the three of you have really only known each other since June, July this year?
Oh no, I did know them as children.
I see. Would you mind standing in the exact position you were in when shots were fired, please? Well, that was a very narrow escape, wasn't it?
I was extremely fortunate.
Right. Well, that wasn't too painful, was it?
We can go.
You can, but do all stay in the village, don't take a sudden and unexpected holiday, anything like that.
Me, Inspector.
What, me, Miss Marple?
You didn't question me.
But you didn't turn up until after the action.
Well, suppose I was lying. Suppose I was Rudy Schurz's accomplice. I could have easily locked Mitzi in the dining room. I know the layout of the house. I could have hidden then for a while, and then pretended to show up after everything was over.
In that case, I'll put you under arrest.
But I didn't, and I'm not.
In that case, you're free to go.
How very disappointing. You're playing a game with me.
And you with me, Miss Marple. I shall question you when I'm ready. Thank you, everybody. I shall be talking to you all again soon. Miss Blacklock, I'd like you to stay. Sit down, please, Miss Blacklock. Miss Blacklock.
Yes.
I think it's cards on the table time.
I don't understand.
I think you do. Someone tried to kill you last night.
Oh, no, Inspector.
I think there's no doubt of it.
I think you're wrong, Inspector.
Well, I hope we're going to find out why.
If Rudy Schultz had wanted to kill me, there were plenty of opportunities when he could have done it. Why wait until last night? Why invite witnesses?
And what makes you think it was Rudy Schultz?
Well, wasn't it?
Well, he did place the advertisement in the Gazette, yes.
Well, that goes to prove my point. And, you know, if he had wanted to kill me, he could have hidden behind a hedge any time and popped me off back there. No, I think you're wrong, Inspector. He didn't want to murder me.
Someone could have put him up to it.
Put him up to it?
Someone who wanted you dead and is prepared to pay Rudy Schultz to do the job. You see, I'm not so sure his death was an accident.
How could it be anything else? He tripped here and shot himself.
No.
No?
Supposing there was someone else. What if this someone assumed he'd done his job and killed you? Wouldn't it be safer to shoot Rudy Schultz so there was no chance of him getting caught by the police, telling us the truth?
I see what you're saying.
You agree with me, then?
No, because why?
I have a feeling you might be able to answer that.
I can't possibly. I've no enemies. I'm on friendly terms with everyone in the village. No, it's just too silly. Too silly for words.
Well, who gets your money if you die?
Really, Inspector, is this necessary?
Please indulge me, Miss Blacklock. Answer my question.
Patrick and Julia.
I see.
I might add a small annuity and the furniture goes to Miss Bunner, so I suppose that makes her a suspect now too.
Well, all three of them would benefit.
And not one of them would harm a hair on my head.
Now, you'd be surprised what people will do for money.
Really, Inspector, I'm finding this entire conversation extremely distasteful. You are accusing people who are very near and dear to me. People that I trust with my life.
Just tell me, have you got anything of great value?
Nothing much.
Those pearls you're wearing.
They are priceless.
Oh?
But only to me. They belong to my sister. We were very close. I wear them all the time. Somehow they keep me... And I don't suppose you'll understand this for one moment, but they help keep me in touch with her.
Well, I'd like to think I'm not insensitive, but I still think someone is trying to kill you. Please, will you step over to the wall? If he merely intended to frighten you and everyone else, he could have fired the shots into the ceiling. But think, the clock struck the half hour. Everybody turned to it. The lights went out. The door swung open. Rudy's shirts, or someone...
Marple! What are you doing?
Give me the gun!
It's a toy. It shoots pieces of potato.
What's this all about, Miss Marple?
I couldn't help wondering how rude that young man could be in 3 places at once. Fusing the lights, locking Mitzi in the dining room, and opening a door with a gun in one hand and a torch in the other. I couldn't. I had to put the gun down, open the door, and then pick it up after. It seems to me like he's a very athletic young man.
That's a very good point, Miss Marple.
Inspector, that's praise indeed. Tell me, do you think it possible that Rudy Shirts had an accomplice?
Miss Marple,
Yes?
would you like my job?
Yes. But I wouldn't make a policeman.
No?
I'm not tall enough. But I thought of this charade in the hope it would help to prove my theory that Rudy Shirts came here to murder Miss Blacklock.
I've been trying to convince her of that myself. Perhaps now you'll agree it's not the rantings of an hysterical old cop, or someone is waiting to murder you. It can happen any time now.
Just because Miss Marple agrees with you, it doesn't make it so.
I'm trying to save your life.
I agree with that because Blacklock.
Somewhere there is a reason, and you know it. It may be buried deep in your mind. We've got to bring it out.
I'm sure there is no reason.
Please think.
But I understand that you could inherit millions someday.
Miss Marple?
Well, Miss Bunner was telling me over coffee the other day.
Trust
at the
Bunner.
Brewing Coffee.
She'll have to do something about it.
Why are you keeping something back from me?
Because it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't have anything to do with you or with this case. In fact, it's highly unlikely ever to happen.
Do I have to ask Miss Marple or Miss Bunner for the details?
Miss Marple is referring to Randall Gedler's will.
Randall Gedler?
He was a financier, Inspector, very flamboyant. He was hailed a genius in the city.
He was. I worked as his personal secretary for nearly 20 years. He made a fortune.
But he might not have without your help.
Well, you seem very well informed, Miss Marple. Why don't you just tell the inspector all about it?
I am sorry. I didn't mean to be rude.
No, I am sorry, Miss Marple. It's just that you may have got rather a muddled version of the truth. Bunny has been known to mix things up a bit.
What is the truth?
I loaned Randall Gedler some money in his early days. All that I had. He was at risk of losing it all. He was really up against it. He could have lost all that he'd worked for all those years. He didn't. And he more or less made me a junior partner.
And when he died?
His fortune went to his wife, Belle, in trust for her lifetime. But when she dies, it comes to me.
And you think this has nothing to do with the shooting?
How could it? Rudy's shirts didn't really he killed me, and he certainly didn't know Randall Bunner. The will wasn't made public.
The will can be looked up in Somerset House. Tell me, how does Mrs. Gedler feel toward you?
Oh, we were always great friends.
You know, Bunny was telling me that she's not in very good health at the moment.
No, Belle was never very strong. But Randall said she'd outlive us all, and I wouldn't be surprised if she did. But I should go see her. It's just that she lives in Scotland, and it's such a long way away.
So when she dies, you get everything.
Well, most of it.
And what happens if you die before she does?
It goes to Pip and Emma.
Who?
I know it does sound funny. Randall had a sister, Sonia. Sonia married a man named Dimitri Stamfordus. It sounds Greek, but it wasn't. Maybe European or something. He was a real rogue, but very handsome like. But Randall hated him.
So he cut Sonia out of the will.
He did, but it didn't really matter because Sonia was rich and had her own money. However, the solicitors suggested that in case I should die before Belle, that some other name should also be put on the will, which very sensible, I think.
Any additional correspondence?
Belle received a letter from Sonia 2 or 3 years after she married, saying she was deliriously happy and had given birth to twins.
Pip and Emma.
Yes.
So somewhere there's a young man and a young lady who stand to become millionaires. If you die before Belle Gedler, does anyone know what happened to Sonia and her husband?
They were living in Eastern Europe the last time we heard anything.
How old would Pip and Emma be now?
25 or 30, something like that.
They must be found. Have you any idea what they look like?
There were no photos, and even if there had been, we wouldn't be able to see what they look like now.
Well, what did Sonia look like? Maybe they resemble her.
Well, Sonia was quite dark and a very explosive person, but very attractive.
Pip and Emma.
Or Sonia, Inspector. So, her husband, Dimitri Stamfordus, was a rogue, you say. Supposing her husband went through all of her money, then she would stand to gain if you died first.
Dimitri would too.
Yes!
So there are 4 people who would stand to benefit from your death, Miss Blacklock.
Yes, surely you can discount Patrick and Julia now. If I die before Belle, they'll only get a pittance.
Well, at this stage, I don't believe in discounting anyone. And I'd advise you to do the same.
Is anything wrong?
No, nothing, Mitzi.
Then why are you looking so strange?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't realized. Excuse me.
Just a minute, Mitzi.
What you want, policeman?
Have you any relations in this country?
Everybody is dead.
Any family at all?
Why do you want to know?
I heard they were sent to Siberia.
Who told you that?
Miss Bunner?
You mean you have no one, brother, something?
I am alone.
No English relatives, distant cousins, perhaps?
Me, English? If it weren't so funny, I would be insulted.
At some time, I will need to see all of your papers.
Everything is in order. I go to the immigration house every 3 months.
Calm down. It's routine. I'm obliged to do it.
Why you not just arrest me? You think I do this thing, this murder? Well, go ahead. Arrest me. Put on the handcuffs. Good. You are arresting her, Inspector. Don't care. Put on the handcuffs. Arrest
Put your hands down. Not move.
You should arrest her. She stole a cup. I not steal anything, you stupid old woman. No, she accused me of stealing. I not steal.
Bunny, what is this all about?
One of your favorite coffee cups, Letty. It's missing. They were on the Welsh dresser in the kitchen, and she won't let anyone go in there. There were 6. Now, there are only 5.
I won't be angry, Mitzi, but did you break a cup?
First, murder. Then, stealing. Why? Because I am a foreigner. It's not me, it's her. She did something with it and forgot. She's the screwy one. She should be put away.
Oh, Mitzi, you must apologize.
No, I am through. I'm not blocking your doorstep again.
Oh, I do apologize for that outburst.
I'm afraid she can't leave.
Oh, she won't. She's just such an explosive person.
She's a liar. I think you should check up on her, Inspector. I dare say we would all be surprised if we learned the truth about her.
Well, she does make excellent coffee. Can I offer you a cup, Miss Marple?
It's the only thing she doesn't put garlic in.
Yes, I would love something.
And you, Inspector?
No, not right now. I'd actually like to take another look around. Perhaps you'd show me the rest of the house.
Buddy, you could pour the coffee, won't you?
Oh, yes. You like it black, don't you?
I like it white.
Oh, that's right. I don't know how you can drink it black. I like mine with lots of milk and sugar. I have always had a sweet tooth. Letty used to tease me about it when we were children, I remember.
Not many friendships last as long as yours.
She rescued me, you know. From what? I was destitute.
Oh, surely not.
You don't believe me?
Of course. Yes, of course I do.
She's so good, not just to me, but to everyone.
Yes, she does seem to have taken a lot of people under her wing.
Too trusting my farm.
She doesn't strike me as the sort of person who is easily fooled.
She's not a woman of the world, you know, not like us.
But if she worked for Randles together all those years, she certainly...
Yes, she did. Who told you that?
You did, the other day.
Oh. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Poor Lottie. Poor Lottie. Whenever I think of her, that poem comes to mind.
What poem is that?
Why, the one that goes, and sad affliction, bravely borne.
What sad affliction, Miss Bunner?
What?
Sad affliction.
Well, all those years taking care of his sister. Only she would have done it.
Tuberculosis, wasn't it?
Gave up everything. Everything. No one appreciates her. Not like I do. And that Patrick, he is always taking advantage of her.
He seems such a nice young man.
Ha! He keeps borrowing money from her and never paying it back. It wouldn't surprise me if it was him who put that Rudy Schultz up to coming here last night, always playing practical jokes. They were probably going to split the proceeds so that he could pay Letty back the money he owes her. He's like all the young people these days. No respect for anything.
Things aren't so easy for them, you know?
Come, look at this. See what one of them did to this beautiful table. There, a cigarette burn. It's only the young people who smoke in this house.
What a shame.
And it's such a beautiful piece.
Well, so is this.
Dresden, we have two. The shepherd is here, and the shepherdess is in the spare room.
No, this is the shepherdess.
Oh, I always thought the shepherd was in this room. Oh dear, Miss Marple, this dreadful business has really got on top of me. I'm more confused than ever.
Oh, I am so sorry, Miss Bunner. The violets have died. I thought sure they would stay fresh through next week.
How silly of me. I forgot to water them.
Oh, no, but you were getting...
No wonder.
Never mind. I'll make sure you get lots more. And I believe I know someone who can repair this so you won't even notice it's been damaged.
How wonderful.
I really ought to go now.
Must you? It is so nice to have someone to talk to who understands.
There's shopping I have to do.
Oh no. That door's always sealed up. This table used to be in front of it, so then people knew not to go through.
Seems like a good idea.
Well, it was, but Phillipa suggested it would be better here because it would integrate the rooms more. It used to be 2 rooms originally, you see.
Is there a key?
Ah, the builders were very clever. One key opens all the locks on the downstairs rooms. So sensible. But there's a different key for each bedroom.
So sensible.
Here, I'll show you. It's a little sticky, and I can't open it. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Miss Blacklock.
It's my fault, Letty. I was explaining to Miss Marple about Phillipa suggesting you move the table away from the door.
Please don't blame Miss Bunner. It's all my fault. It's my insatiable curiosity. I really am so terribly
I've
sorry.
just been overwrought as well. All these crazy things going on about us. No problem. I'm sorry.
My nerves have been a little shaky too.
I wonder any of us can possibly keep our wits
How long
about
do you
us.
think it's been since it's been opened?
Well, the 2 rooms were made into one sometime before the end of the last century.
Ah, Miss Bunner, my sergeants found your missing coffee cup.
Oh, how
It was in the bushes by the duck pond.
Oh, well, I should have asked you in the first place, Inspector, you being the detective.
Yes, it's all part of the job.
Yes, and we do find missing budgerigars as well.
But how do you suppose my coffee cup got there, Inspector?
Using my obvious powers of detection, I'd say someone threw it there. But have you any idea why there should be oil in it, Miss Blacklock?
I think I do, Inspector.
Surprise me, Miss Marple.
The hinges on this door have been oiled, and I would say quite recently.
What?
Uh-huh.
So, that it would open silently. So, if Rudy Shirts had an accomplice, it could have been anyone who's in this room last night. Why should he need to use this door? Well, whoever he is, he's the only one who knows it can be opened, and he may try to use it again. Let's hope I'm here when he does. 11:30. I must get back to the station. Would you like a lift, Miss Marple?
How kind. Yes, I would. I just asked
Oh
to
my
get
goodness, honey, I haven't fed the duck yet. Oh dear, Letitia, yes, those poor creatures must be wondering what has come over us.